Hi, everyone. It's Allie. It's great to connect with you again in this way. It's been quite a while since I've been on here in this way. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but for many years, I spent a lot of time in this medium on Facebook, sharing a lot of videos. And I know a lot of people I'm connected on here with have connected with me through those videos. And so thank you so much for those of you who really followed along and really joined the process of a lot of these videos. Through the years, I've gotten to meet and work with like so many people through sharing in this way. And so I just want to express the gratitude I've had for like the journey I had in sharing a lot through this medium and the opportunities and the powerful experiences that happened. I think the last time I've done a video on here, hey Kelly, Jennifer, the last time I did a video on here, I believe is actually the winter solstice. And I just kept really feeling the call to do a video today, it's like kind of the summer solstice. And that feels right. I guess I'm just going to do maybe a video on here every solstice. But yeah, for me personally, yes, I know, Kelly, you've done a lot of these videos with me and shared a lot on these, and it's great to see you here. Yeah, I think for a while, I wasn't feeling as drawn to like sharing on video. In general, I think this medium, as some of you know, I was going through a lot of personal stuff, just healing from like the loss of my brother, healing from mold exposure illness, which they happened at the same time. And it took a little while to realize it was two separate things. And I was working on a really big project on behalf of my family and on behalf of well, we're going to talk about confrontation right now. So I was confronting a major karmic pattern and confronting a major experience of accountability and public group acknowledgement. I've just been working on this really big project, and I don't mean to sound so vague, but I'm not sure it's something that I'm going to really talk about publicly yet too much. So just basically what I was doing is I was healing. I was working on a major project that took up most of my time for about 1.5 years. And I also was working still in a private practice with clients and doing a lot of writing. And I was finding that there's been a lot I've wanted to write. I just wrote a book on the Akashic Records actually. And a lot of my energy was going towards doing these videos and sharing and engaging and creating posts for many years. And I kind of didn't have the same juice to create privately because a lot of how I was creating was happening publicly. And so I still have loved working with clients and participating and sharing with clients privately, but I just hadn't felt the same outward energy otherwise. And there's also been just so much I was going through where much of my adult life, all of my adult life, basically, I used Facebook to share what was going on with me and turn it into a teaching moment. And I just have been in the deepest teaching moments of my life, and I just knew I needed to really receive them and digest them before I immediately would try to turn them into something for a larger audience of people that aren't actually connected to the experience or work with me on a regular basis. So that's kind of where I've been, and it was a good experience. I don't know if you've ever taken a break from something that you were really consistent with for a long time, but this is an example of something I was really consistent with for a really long time and brought a lot of richness and opportunities to my life. And I had such a fear about pulling back and what would that mean for the presence I'd worked to have on here, and the smaller presence, I guess, way that I have that seems to impact people. What would it mean for my work? What would it mean for all these identities that I had to put down for the last couple of years? And really, it was fine. Really, it was the people that were meant to connect with me and connected with me anyway. And I've really had a great time looking at all of your content and looking at and receiving it from other people's shares. But I am feeling like I'm going to start coming back on in a more regular way. I'm also starting a new chapter of I was in New York more or less for the last 2 years. I was in Chicago for a little bit, but more or less in New York for the last couple of years, supporting my family, spending time with my mom, all of that good stuff, doing the project I was working on. And now I'm actually moving to St. Petersburg, Florida. So I don't know if anyone on here is familiar with that, but it's on the west coast of Florida, super I really love it there. Super cool area and energy, and it's going to be a really exciting new chapter. And it's funny because I was getting the message about going there for over a year, and then once I was there, I was getting the message of where I was going to live and when I was going to move there, and I still had to go through all the different doors. You know, even when you get the message, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, you get that hit and that intuitive message, and you sort of know what's going to happen, but we're not here to read a script, so we have to still go through the whole experience and the whole timeline. And now it's finally the timeline, and I'm going to have this exciting move and just getting ready to go there pretty soon. So that's kind of like a little update just for those of you who may be interested, and for those of you who really did participate and share with me in these videos for so long, and then I know I kind of like popped away. And so thank you for still being part of my community. I felt like I wanted to share today because I feel a really strong energy of confrontation happening for a lot of people. And so obviously we've gone through a huge transformation as a collective. Individually, we've all been having the transformations that we're all always having activated in our own specific timeline. And then of course we all just went through the experience with COVID and the movements that were brought forth from having that period of time, and the blind spots that were illuminated, the education that's happening, the fears that happen, the truth that people had to get in touch with about their lifestyle and about how we treat each other, right? Like there's just so many amazing openings and awakenings and activations and hardships and blessings, and like there's a whole experience that's been happening for all of us as a group. And the thing is like when you go through something really transformational like we all just did, I know you've already heard this, that there's no going back, that people just keep saying, I can't wait to get back, or thank God we're getting back. And obviously like there is no going back. We've seen things we can't unsee. We've received things we can't give back. We've understood things we're not going to now not understand about ourselves and about the world. Like there is really no going back. And I know for myself, like, you know, that was definitely my experience after leaving LA and the trauma I went through. And then I tried to kind of like, as much as I love Chicago and it'll always be a home, like I tried to go back, like I tried to return to other lifetimes I had had. And that's why I'm moving somewhere completely new. Like, that luckily has some old friends there, but there is no going back to a previous life. And, oh, that's cool. A lot of my family is in Miami, Jen. That's awesome, Florida. There is no going back, and we're in a very confrontational energy right now because there's been a lot of pressure on opening, returning, being able to just do this thing that we've never had to do before, and feeling very vulnerable and not knowing how to communicate the vulnerability. And I think like while we were still in more of a lockdown in America, you couldn't fully confront everything, but the more the life here is opening and it's starting to open in other places, and people's jobs are going back, like the structures in our society are starting to go back, but we can't go back. And I'm noticing that this is a really difficult time mentally and physically and emotionally for a lot of people. I see that there's a lot of people in pain right now. And one thing I feel like was like a blessing for me was that I was already in the deepest pain of my life when this started. So I already kind of had assembled a team to support me. And I feel really lucky that I already had a setup that kept me able to cope with transitions. And I noticed like for people who already kind of had that setup going on, this has been easier, a little bit easier. And then I noticed for people who hadn't maybe done that, or maybe this was supposed to be a time for them to do that and they hadn't done it yet. I just want to say before we're going to do a nice little energy activation with each other, I just hope if this is you where you're having a tough time and you haven't kind of shifted your support system, whether that means having the confrontation moment. Like maybe this is your moment to have the confrontation around what you need now. So maybe you haven't gotten the support yet, whether that's going to be like a therapist or a coach or a different dynamic with your family or your relationship or your housing or how you're taking care of yourself or how you're working. But in particular, it's a really, anytime we're going through huge change, it's an amazing time to get some priority support where your process is being prioritized by someone else and you're getting feedback and reflections. And that was like one of the number one reasons I made sure I like got into therapy, you know, a therapeutic relationship with a healer and a therapist, as when it was the right timing to do so. Sometimes while you're still in the trauma, you need a little while. And then it's good to get into some sort of regular relationship. And one of the reasons I wanted that was because I wanted to make sure I knew I had someone who knew where I was on the map, so that I could go into the shadows and I could come back out. And I knew there was someone who kind of like was aware of the process I was in. And that's allowed me to stay in a stable place and actually be able to hold space for other people and like be where I would want to be 2 years out from such a life-changing event that will always be life-changing. But I'm in a place I'm really proud of and happy about. And it really has to do with the fact that I've had regular support through a huge life change. So I kind of like first just wanted to say that everybody deserves that everybody deserves support through major life changes. And everybody just went through a major life change. And sometimes when you're feeling really overwhelmed, it feels like that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to figure out. How do I have the resources or the person or the time? But like, there is a way to figure it out. Right now we're being asked to confront how sustainable our life was. For me personally, I had to confront how unsustainable many aspects of my life was when everything kind of imploded. And I think for many of us, and I notice like when I'm working with people, like that's kind of the first thing we have to look at, right? Like what is actually unsustainable? And yeah, and I'm hearing from some people here, depression, anxiety. I'm seeing higher levels of anxiety and depression in my community than I've like really ever seen, particularly with people where it's been time for you. You deserve the support. You deserve the connection. You deserve regular acknowledgement and understanding of what's happening in your life and in your process, and support with someone who can help you with the accountability and the tools and the compassion to start making some of the changes you need to change now that you've transformed so much with the rest of the world. So yeah, Jen, it's okay. Everyone is feeling that. I mean, most people are feeling some level of anxiety, depression, and panic. It's very normal after what just went on. But I just want to just kind of first really emphasize that I'm seeing a lot of people who so deserve loving, compassionate support in their life and have not made it a priority yet. And so maybe you were meant to see this right now, and I just want to like encourage that. And so, yeah, we're in the energy of confrontation, right? So after big life changes, and even just like here in this, this side of the equator, it's the summer solstice, and it's like the sun can be confronting, like, ooh, the longest day of the year. But it's like, oh man, like when you're really in it and it's been heavy and intense and unfamiliar, sometimes the night is easier, you know? When you're having a hard time, sometimes nighttime is easier and it's darker and it's quieter and there's less pressure. I think that's why a lot of people going through a hard time like the night better, because it's just a little more mellow and life is a little more paused. But we're in this energy of the sun, of the summer solstice, of just the idea of like, life is back, we're back, the lights are on, come on, you know, like there's just a lot of illumination on what you're doing or not doing and all of that. And that is very confronting. It's very confronting, especially after the period we just went through. And so there's pressure almost to feel like, hooray, happy solstice. But I just want to also say it's understandable if it feels intense and confronting in a way for you as well. So let's just take a breath here. And if that resonates at all, if it's just felt a little tight, a little hot, a little like, oh my God, like the longest day of the year. That's, you know, like that's how it's feeling right now. That's okay. Hey, Kate. And it's understandable. And there's always a way to get the support you need for this to feel a little cooler and a little more grounded. And so just take a few breaths here, just feeling where you feel that energy of solstice, that like very long day, the heat and the sun, maybe like where you feel that in your body. And maybe where you feel that in your life, like what part of your life right now feels really hot and long and like there's a lot happening. Maybe it's in like parenting or in your job or in a decision or in like worry about more needing to happen in an area, but there's somewhere the sun is really beating down in your life. So just take a few breaths here and just feel like, where's the sun beating down on my life? In it, maybe I feel that in my body as well, but just take a few breaths here. Beautiful. And then when you feel that, let's just bring in like a cool breeze, like, you know, that nice breeze on a hot summer day or even in the evening where it's like, oh God, okay, it's feeling a little bit better. I say this as I'm about to move to like a very hot place. So let's breathe in here and just call in some of that cooling, soothing energy. The idea of getting some support, the idea of just feeling a little breath and a little space. And so what we're doing here is that the place in where we're feeling a lot of sun and a lot of intensity and a lot of like light is actually the place where we feel the confrontation. It's where there's a lot moving and there's something to have a conversation about. There's something to connect or reorient in this area. And we're not really taught about confrontation, even though it's something we need to do constantly throughout life. And so confrontation oftentimes includes aggression, or it brings up a trauma response for people, or we do everything in the world to avoid confrontation, or we're afraid, we feel unsafe if there would need to be a confrontation. And so like confrontation is a really sticky area that makes a lot of us either overly aggressive or overly passive. And we can waste a lot of time better spent enjoying our life and feeling empowered and feeling supported of trying to avoid confrontation. And so we're just going to breathe in some like cool, relaxed energy into this hot spot, this confrontational hot spot. So again, we're calling back in, feeling that part of your body or your life that feels like the sun is like beating down on it, that confrontational feeling of heat and intensity. And just feel where that is for you in your body or in your life. How, Sarah? I can't see who's on here, but I love seeing who is here when you make a comment. So feel where that area of heat or intensity is in your life or in your body. And make a commitment to just stay focused here. It's not as overwhelming when we don't let ourselves be distracted. So when there's something to confront, but we keep letting ourselves be distracted, we get very overwhelmed. Let's stay really focused on where we can see the confrontation is for us right now in our life, the heat, the focus is for our life, and just stay focused right here. And I'm with you in the energy field. We're just really creating a space for you to have focus and for you to prioritize this thing that needs your attention. Because confrontation is really just about focused, intentional attention. And just feel your ability to prioritize this thing. And feel your feet on the floor and feel your lower body. Feel yourself being very strong and grounded. And feel all of the energy around you here to support you. All the earth angels, all the ancestors, all the little moments of opportunity here to support this thing that you're here to confront with attention and intention. And now just begin to feel that the resources needed, and I'm just feeling them like a nice cool breeze coming into that part of your life and coming into that part of your body. And just begin to feel a nice cool breeze. Breathing in, calling in that cool breeze. Breathing out, letting that move into that hot area. And now the next breath in, feeling like a cool kind of like summer rain. You know how that happens sometimes when it's been really muggy and sticky and like, agitated. Feel like a nice cool rain just coming in. And now feel that part of your life that's felt really hot and confronting. I've said that so many times, but you know, that's the energy. Feel that cool water just coming right in. And feel everything going down a couple levels. Feel the stress, going down a few levels. Feel that energy of downward, moving downward. All bringing it down a few levels. Let that move from the top of the body down. And just breathing here. Feeling the whole body soften. Feeling what it feels like to let the thing that's calling for your attention, not because other people are saying it should be the thing, but because you can feel it's the hot, intense part of your life right now. Feel what it feels like to let that thing be the focus, and feel how much more grounded you are when you prioritize that. And now from this kind of cooled off, grounded place, just let yourself receive the message. So this place in your life needs priority. There needs to be some sort of confrontation, whether it's like a conversation, it's whatever it is. So from this soft, grounded place, you can ask, like, what's the confrontation? And whatever you hear is right, whatever you feel is right. And then when you have that, what do I need? It may not be what you think you should need, but let yourself hear what you need to be able to have that confrontation, whatever it is, to break through and just let the cool wind, the cool breeze, that summer rain that cools it off, let that in. What do you need? And whatever it is, you can trust it. Something I've learned through a lot of years is like the message is sometimes simple, or so simple you feel like it can't be the thing. And the simplest, the simple and the subtle is always so much deeper, because you're not distracted by all the fluff. So it's like, let it be simple if it's simple. Let it be kind. And when you have that, just feel yourself connecting with everyone who is here live, everyone who will be listening to this recording. And let's just all make that commitment to prioritize that intention, that attention, and the resources. And the resources will be there because resources are about sustainability. We're all learning how to be more sustainable through the experience we just went through. We're learning what was actually sustainable long term and what wasn't or isn't. And prioritizing what is asking to be confronted is a very sustainable thing to do. It's like how to live in a sustainable way is you prioritize the thing that's lighting up. And so when we prioritize the thing that's lighting up, we're living from a place of sustainability inside of ourselves. And when we do that, the resources will definitely be there. There is a resource for whatever it is that's calling to you in this moment. I just want to say too, as for the group, I just feel like fun. Beautiful. Yeah. Safety. I'm hearing fun as well. So I think for some of us, you know, like there wasn't as many opportunities the way we normally would have had fun. We can get into that grind depending on what your life has been like. So we're just going to bring in fun. I'm just holding the intention that everyone find a way to have some fun and some softness and some just getting creative, feeling the mind may have been feeling very hard and stuck in one direction. And so we're just adding in the energy of fun so you can feel more creative, so that you feel how many resources actually are here. And now just take a few breaths here, breathing in the connection we're having to commit to this. Exhaling out and just sending like our blessing for everyone who's connected to us in this moment, that they confront the thing that will change their life in this moment and feel the resources to do so, feel the support. Some of us, you won't be able to, you can't always do it alone. There's moments, confrontation often feels like it's us and God or whatever, but usually it's a village that has helped us get to that point. So I'm also just putting out that intention that you feel your way to the right opportunities and people and situations that support this. And you deserve support, and there are people here to help you and support you if you need it. And we just know that everything we needed to clear here tonight is permanently released and cleared. It's done, and so it is. Taking a big exhale out. Anything we needed to understand and bring in tonight is permanently with us. It'll continue to work with us. And I'm just sending gratitude to the Akasha, the guides and guardians, everyone who chose to connect with us right now or watching this, the recording, and also the technology that allows us to come together in this way. Feeling grateful to know that everyone does have the resources they need to have the shift that they're ready for. And we know the work will continue beyond this time. We're always connected by heart. We're breathing back into existence, the door between worlds, and the records are closed, and so it is. So that was nice. I hope you're feeling, if you were feeling very hot and tense or confrontational about something, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I did. And I hope you are also taking the time needed for you. And yeah, hopefully everyone's feeling, I personally feel like a few degrees cooler, energetically and perhaps physically as well. And yeah, great to reconnect in this way. I'm sure we'll do this again soon. If you're on the Clubhouse app, I've also been doing monthly soul board meetings on there where we tune into the theme of the month. And so I'd love to see you on there. Also, we're working with people privately if that's something you'd been thinking about, or this is like a type of support that you think would be supportive at this time. Happy to talk to you about that. And also, again, just let this be this moment where if you've realized you've been kind of running not on a full tank, like, oh, hey, Elena, love you too. If you haven't been running on the full tank, like, let this be that you were meant to like suddenly see me in this moment just to remind you, like, you're going to need things that different, your needs are different than they used to be. And that's good. And it's right. And it's what happens after huge change. And so you may need to reassess how you've been supporting yourself physically or emotionally. And you're important and you matter and you deserve to have that. And there's a way for you to have that. So that's all for now. Thanks for being here, and talk to you all soon, probably. All right. Bye-bye.